Hi, my name is Tom Lister, and I play the character of Julian Marsh, the director of Pretty Lady, and the lead in 42nd Street. He's a pretty, tyrant when it comes to kind of like how he runs like his companies. He doesn't hold anything back. He literally will grind people into the dirt. But like Julian is somebody who's made it. He was the king of Broadway, but then the last few years he lost all his money in a show. He's been literally destitute. He's been having to kind of like get by doing things for like the mobsters of New York, and suddenly he has his chance again to reinvent himself and to climb back to the top. And that's what this show is about. And he's as desperate as all of these young girls and guys who want to be part of this show. So this show was born about a time in like 30s America when like the Depression had hit, which is something that I guess in our day and age we can compare to the banking crisis of like quite a few years ago. So we were in a time of austerity, we were in a time of like desperation. People were like unemployed and desperate. People who were like used to be like millionaires were now like literally destitute, and so Broadway was struggling. But Hollywood was making these movies and these musicals that would transport people to another time, another place. And this story is about like all these people in New York coming and suddenly they have this person who's willing to put on a show that will transport people to another place. And it's the desperation of these guys being able to work again and being able to kind of like do something that will transport people to a place of joy and escapism and remember the beauty that is in theatre and that is in doing a great show. I remember Sheena from like years ago. I remember like the Bond song, and I remember the Prince song, and like so to be working with her is like incredible, and she's the most beautiful person. We have so much fun together, and Claire is just amazing. She and Stuart and the ensemble really are the stars of the show. Sheena and I are kind of like the framework that really sets up the last 20 minutes of the show, when we just set those guys off and they just run with it, and everybody goes nuts as they just perform these dances and these songs which just make people so full of love and joy. And I feel utterly privileged to be able to stand in the wings and watch these guys perform. Just the most incredible night. I've done quite a few shows before, but I've never experienced a reaction like that from a theatre audience. It was so special. It was just visceral. The kind of like love that people had for the show and all the moments. And we were all out there just trying to do our best to kind of like remember the lines, sing the songs, do the dances, hit all the moments that we wanted to hit. And just the overwhelming response from the audience was something I will never forget. So I was like the final scene. I know I've got some lines and I've got to sing the final song on stage on my own, and I see everybody moving out of the royal box, and I know that like the Duchess of Cambridge is walking into the wing. So I'm like, don't focus on that, just kind of do what you've got to do and then get off stage. And I walked off stage and she was there and we had a chat. And she was lovely and so complimentary, and she is beautiful. She is like...
Hey Tom!
How you doing?
Isn't he amazing? Yeah, woo! Okay, enjoy.
It was such a surreal experience, but like something I will treasure forever.
My name is Norman Bowman, and I play Pat Denning in 42nd Street. Well, he fits very, very tidily into the story as being Dorothy Brock, secret lover. Dorothy Brock has a sugar daddy who's invested all the money into the show, but she's got this secret beau that she's had pretty much since they used to be in vaudeville together. But he has to keep a low profile, so he's always in the shadows, and unfortunately that means I'm not on stage very much, but I get to watch the show, which is a privilege, and I get to kiss Sheena Easton, which is a privilege, and I get to be a part of this incredible spectacle. I think the beauty of people like that is you can't quite quantify it. I mean, I've known Sheena, of course, since I was a teenager in Scotland. And if somebody told me back then that I was going to be kissing her on a West End stage in 30 years' time, I would have told them that they were off their tree, you know? She's an incredible presence on stage. She plants her feet, she belts the breasts, the tits, can I say tits? She belts the tits out of these songs. And she's a wonderful actress as well. She's got lots of life behind her. I know she won't mind me saying that, you know? But she's a very well-versed, very experienced, a very rounded woman. She's seen a lot of the world, and I think she brings all of that into the show. If you don't like tap, I think there's something seriously wrong with you. This show is full of magical songs, magical numbers, spectacle. It just makes you feel happy. And as the director says, right now we need some happiness. We need to just escape for a good couple of hours. And this will do that for you. It won't pretend to cure cancer, it won't pretend to right the wrongs of the world, but it'll restore your faith in the human spirit and what we can achieve artistically. I know it's just a show at the end of the day, but, you know, where are we without art? You know, if we can't go there and gladden our hearts and our souls, you know, with something unique, something classy and something fun.
It takes us back to such a happy time. Now we're in such a cruel world sometimes that back in 1933, although they did have no money, it was a depression, everyone was happy, it was a happy time to go back to, so I think that is good, it's great. I think it's just so special for everybody. It's an escape from the real world for 2.5 hours, which you don't actually get to have. We take the audience back in time, all the way back to 1933, so it's a special time for all of us. I think that the changes off stage, the work that you see off stage is just as important as you see what happens on stage, because even when you're off stage, you're panicking to get to your next entrance, so it's just all go all the time. For me, the magic of the West End is taking people away from their normal lives and just taking them to a happy place for 2.5 hours, and I think it's definitely worth the money doing that.
Michael Grade, co-producer of 42nd Street at Drury Lane. There are over 600 costumes. Every member of the chorus has 8 pairs of shoes, God knows how many wigs and changes of costume. We have an army of people backstage doing the quick changes with the cast. The staircase moment, God knows what. I still don't know what that cost. They didn't tell me. It's huge. It's massive. It's the biggest show in London. The tradition with the show is you find a star to play Dorothy Brock, the sort of the diva at the beginning, and we had a lot of ideas. And my partner Michael Linnett said to me, he said, "I've had an idea. So what about Sheena Easton?" I said, "Oh my God, that'd be what." Anyway, he rang her, and within a few days, she said, "I'd love to do it. I'm coming." And she's embraced it. She's loving it. She's loving it. And I think she's going to surprise a lot of people with the power and range of her voice. These are pop standards that everybody knows from the 40s and 50s and 30s, and she's just grabbed it. This is pure, unadulterated American showbiz entertainment at the highest level. There are very few shows that deliver as much as this show delivers. It's a classic, and it's not as simple as it looks. It's quite a, if you look behind the face of the show, there's a lot of workings. It's a brilliant show, and you're guaranteed to come out of the theatre feeling better than you went in. That's the key. But what was interesting tonight is sometimes when you get a royal in the audience, the audience kind of gets a bit sort of restrained, but not tonight. And she was tapping away, a little foot was going in the box there. It was fantastic.
Hey, hi, I'm Chris Howell. I play Bert Barry in 42nd Street, London. The atmosphere on stage is absolutely incredible. It's electric. Tonight before the curtain went up and the audience started to cheer and went crazy, I'm waiting in the wings with Yasna, was we watched the faces of our cast, and it's a rush like you'll never ever see. It's incredible. Long may that continue, you know. It's one of the first shows I ever saw as a child, which is awesome. And then to be able to play a role in the show that you saw as a child is quite amazing. And you know what? I think this show inspired so many of us to want to go into theatre. So to be part of it is like incredible. And Her Royal Highness said to me I was very funny. What can you do? You know, that's amazing. The whole thing was wonderful. But to be honest, every audience we've had so far has been absolutely incredible. And there's an electricity about this staging. Mark Bramble and Randy Skinner have just created this fast, funny, incredible piece of theatre, and it's wonderful.
Hello, my name is Yasna Evia. I play Maggie Jones in this most glorious and fantastic spectacle that is 42nd Street. I don't think this could have come at any better time, and any better place, in any better theatre, with a fantastic cast in those times that we're in right now. Hashtag, I'm not going to name all these things. I think everybody needs a bit of an uplift with such iconic songs, with such a fantastic ensemble, with great music, which is right picked from the 30s. Everybody stands up on their feet. Nobody cannot wipe their smile off their face. It's a feel-good show. It is an absolute delight and joy to work on and work with all these very, very talented people, but as well to watch the show. It is a massive ensemble piece. It is a massive spectacle. They all work so very hard. I feel almost awful for coming on, saying 3 funny lines and going off, whereas they are, not only on stage, but off stage, really, there's so many quick changes. They all work so physically, really hard. And it absolutely, I take my hat off, and I cannot not stand in the wing and just watch and admire every single person that I'm working with. And that makes me so proud to be part of that. Who doesn't love Come On Along and Listen to the Lullaby of Broadway? Who doesn't know that? Who cannot not sing along with that? Oh, we're in the money, we're in the money. So all these things, and lots of people probably know these songs but forgotten that they are part of this beautiful show. And then they sit and then they go, oh my God, that's from that as well. I didn't know, I didn't realize. So they all hum along, sing along, and it just puts a massive smile on your face. Well, what a special occasion. I mean, what a beautiful building and what a great show. So it was a beautiful and gorgeous honor to have her. And, you know, of course we're on stage and we're blinded by the lights of the, but you know, you can't not have a quick look. And she looks like a real princess, and it's a very special feeling, and we're all very buzzing backstage, of course, because of family and friends. But like I said, royalty makes it ever so much more special, yeah.
I mean, I'm still grinning from it. The energy coming at us from the crowd was astounding, and we couldn't have asked for better.
Can you tell us just a little bit about your character and what makes it such a fantastic role for someone to take on?
Well, Dorothy Brock is feisty. She's a woman of the world. She's a diva. I get to go out there and kind of throw zingers at people and have some tender moments, have wonderful material, great songs to sing. It's a wonderful role.
Talk about the magic of the West End and the magic of performing for royalty here tonight as well.
Yes, we were very lucky. We're very honored to have her here. This show is timeless. I think if there's one show you want, if you're going to just pick one musical production, this has everything in it. It has a lot of humor, it's got amazing dances, wonderful music, and it's just a spectacular. I think it's the closest you're going to get to a big MGM film musical on a stage. You know, it really makes that come to life. So if it's a young person who's interested in theatre at all, this is the one to come and see.